With the unlocking of the Indian economy, India Inc. is quite optimistic about the economic revival, a fact which has come out from the CXO survey that we recently conducted. The survey was conducted across industry segments and business sizes. And the very heartening fact is that almost 80% of the respondents believe that they would go back to the pre-COVID run rates by June of 2021. Today, to discuss how some of the larger corporations have been dealing with the COVID crisis and how they are looking forward, we have with us Mr. Anuj Poddar from Bajaj Electricals, and we look forward to his views. So Anuj, many thanks for your time today. You have businesses both across the B2B and the B2C verticals. What do you think are going to be your biggest challenges as you look to restart businesses, and how do you plan to overcome them?
So great. Thank you, Sanjeev, for having me on this. To just share my views on this, I think the issues or challenges, I would like to put them in three buckets. One was liquidity, which is having fund flows. Second was demand, and third was supplies. Liquidity was the first challenge that we faced in terms of not just our liquidity, but making sure all our partners on the channel or the sales side, as well as on the supply side and vendors, we were in a way responsible to make sure that the engine was oiled and both of them did not face challenges. The second issue really has been demand, particularly on the consumer side. But fortunately, the demand has come back strongly post-lockdown being lifted. The consumer sentiment seems to be fine. I think that's maybe more true for our industry and the product categories that we operate in, which are fairly small ticket, affordable and essential products. I think the single biggest challenge that we're facing with right now is really supply disruption. That holds true for both B2B and B2C businesses. This is because of supply disruption, because of labor disruption issues. It's supply disruption because of factories, coming under lockdown. And this is happening more frequently with these local lockdowns that are now happening. So ability to plan for that is becoming challenging. And along with that, when we have these local level lockdowns across the country, the actual flow of materials, flow of people, flow of goods on a pan-India basis is severely disrupted. It's becoming very hard to plan for that.
So Anuj, thanks for that. Just a quick follow-up. Do you think your challenges across the B2B and the B2C verticals are similar, or are they any different?
So if I look at my B2B and the B2C business, let me first talk about demand on both sides. The B2B business tends to be more project-led and capex-led and long cycles. So I think you don't see the immediate issue on demand. We are dealing with order books that we already have, and it's more about execution there. But I think situations like this will affect the order book going forward as capex cycles come under pressure until the capex cycle picks up and new spending, picks up in the industry. On the consumer side, the demand has actually come back almost instantly, at least for our category, like I said. So there, the demand problem is not looking bad, and I think it will only grow from there going forward. The supply side of the problem is common to both, because there's a lot of disruption in supplies, like I said, for our factories, and our factories deal with both our consumer products and fabrication of our poles and other B2B products. So those are disrupted, our warehouses get disrupted, the movement of these goods pan-India gets disrupted, and labor force is disrupted. So the supply problem in a way is common for both of these businesses, that's the B2B and the B2C.
The next question. They say in every crisis there is an opportunity. Now in this pandemic, what are the opportunities that you see, and how are you planning to leverage on them?
As leaders in a business, you have to look for how are you going to come out of it with greater resilience and greater response. And I do think there's 3-4 dimensions to this, how this might spell an opportunity for us. Number one, I see much greater consolidation come off this. And therefore, as leading players, whether on our B2B side of the business or B2C, I think, we should be beneficiaries of that greater consolidation going forward in this, in our respective industries. The third aspect really is on the cost. And that, to your point, I think necessity is sometimes, a positive phenomena. So, there was a necessity for us to relook at our costs, cut down costs during periods of lockdown. But the important thing is that we do not lose this. As we come back to normal, the new normal as we call it, we must maintain a frugality or the cost cutting or the revisit of costs that we've engineered. And it's just a new way of doing business. So I think this cost cutting endeavor that we've gone in should remain and should, give us a long-term benefit is what I see. And lastly, again, slightly more true in a consumer business. I think the rural or the semi-urban, small town India, I believe is slightly better off right now than the big town, urban, metro India. And fortunately, we are slightly well indexed in that part of India. And I think, that's a strength that we want to capitalize on as we go forward.
Anuj, thank you so much. The points that you make resonate with us. I think the point that you made about being frugal and continuing to remain frugal in times to come is so very appropriate. And I do hope that all of us learn from this crisis.